Hello, everyone. Welcome to Whispered Tales. Today, we'll dive into a story that unveils a vital life lesson: how to make your money work for you through passive income. As we follow this tale, we'll also learn new words and how to use them in sentences, blending practical financial wisdom with fun English practice. So, settle in and stay with us until the end for an inspiring journey. Once upon a time, in a vibrant, bustling village, lived a young man named Ryan. At 25, Ryan spent his days working diligently at a local grocery store. Over 5 years, he had risen from a humble store clerk to a respected position. For the past 3 years, he had faithfully saved a portion of his earnings, but his savings grew at a snail's pace. Frustrated, Ryan began to wonder how he could make his money work harder for him instead of trickling in slowly. His demanding job left no time for a second one, so he needed a smarter solution. One sunny day off, Ryan decided to seek wisdom from Mr. Denna, a wealthy yet down-to-earth man from a neighboring village. Mr. Denna was renowned for his vast assets and businesses, which generated wealth with minimal effort, a perfect mentor for Ryan's quest. Arriving at Mr. Denna's home, Ryan found him lounging under a sprawling, shady tree near his fields, sipping coffee. Despite his riches, Mr. Denna radiated calm, his wealth working tirelessly for him. After warm greetings, Ryan shared his ambition. "Mr. Denna, I want to learn how to make my money work for me," he said earnestly. Mr. Denna's eyes twinkled with approval. "That's a wise goal, Ryan. It's never too early to learn about passive income," he said. "It's not just about investing huge sums or buying gold. With the right mindset, even a small amount can grow. If you can manage 1 million rupiah wisely, imagine what you could do with more." Ryan leaned forward, captivated, as Mr. Denna began. "The first step to building passive income is simple. You need money. Save diligently from your earnings, but avoid loans for investments, especially as a beginner. It's safer to work hard and save gradually, even if it's just a little at a time. Understand?" Ryan nodded eagerly. "Yes, Mr. Denna. What's next once I've saved some money?" Chuckling at Ryan's enthusiasm, Mr. Denna continued, "Slow down, Ryan. The second step is to resist the urge to splurge. Don't rush to buy a luxury phone, car, or house unless they're essential. Expensive items like cars and phones lose value quickly and are costly to maintain, especially on a modest income. Instead, channel that money into building passive income." Ryan felt a wave of relief. He had often dreamed of flashy purchases, but now he saw the value of patience. "You're right, Mr. Denna. If I spend everything now, I'll have nothing left to grow." "Exactly," Mr. Denna replied. "Now, the third step is the exciting part: finding passive income opportunities. Look around you, explore your village, check social media, or browse the internet for ideas. There are countless ways to create passive income even with a small investment." As they strolled through the village, Mr. Denna pointed out examples. "See Rudy's house? He started a small Wi-Fi service with less than 500,000 rupiah. And next door, someone began raising chickens with a similar amount." The key is to find opportunities that match your skills and interests. Ryan's eyes widened. "I never realized there were so many possibilities right in front of me," he said, scratching his head in amazement. As they walked, Mr. Denna shared more stories of villagers using modest savings to generate income, from renting out farmland to offering small services. "Ryan, the point is to open your mind to what's possible, no matter how small the start." They returned to the shady tree, and Mr. Denna moved to the fourth step. "Once you find an opportunity, don't wait for a perfect plan. Start small, use your savings, and learn as you go. Challenges will arise, but you'll only face them once you begin. Starting with a small investment reduces your risk." Ryan nodded, grateful for the clarity. "Thank you, Mr. Denna. This makes so much sense now." "For the fifth step," Mr. Denna continued, "gradually increase your investment. As your passive income grows, reinvest your profits to scale up. like Rudy, who expanded his Wi-Fi service to more houses. The key is to keep building. Energized, Ryan asked, "What's next, Mr. Denna?" The sixth step is to diversify. Don't rely on one income source. Once your first stream is stable, start another to reduce risk and boost profits. And as a reward for your hard work, it's okay to spend a portion of your earnings. Just keep it under 50% of your profits. Ryan felt a surge of motivation. It's important to enjoy the rewards, right? Exactly, Mr. Denna replied. And finally, the seventh step, be patient. Stay consistent, keep learning, and adapt. Building passive income takes time. Don't get discouraged if results aren't immediate. Many fail because they stop learning or adapting. With that, Mr. Denna concluded his lesson. Ryan left feeling empowered, his mind buzzing with ideas. After enjoying a hearty lunch with Mr. Denna's family, he said goodbye, eager to embark on his passive income journey. New words and sentences. Passive income. Money earned with minimal effort, often generated automatically after setup. Example, renting out a room in your house can create passive income. Asset. Something valuable owned by a person or company that can bring future benefits. Example, her small shop became a valuable asset for her family. Allocate. To set apart or designate for a special purpose. Example, he allocated part of his salary for savings each month. Savings. Money saved, especially in a bank for future use. Example, she used her savings to start a small business. Consistent. Doing something regularly and steadily without stopping. Example, consistent practice helped him improve his English. Capital. Money used to start or grow a business or investment. Example, they needed more capital to expand their farm. And adaptation. The process of adjusting to new conditions. Example, the business's quick adaptation to online sales increased profits. Today, we learned new words and sentences through the story about building wealth through passive income. Remember, learning English can be fun when you practice regularly. To improve further, try repeating each sentence after listening to the story again. Make sure to like, comment, and share how this story inspired you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story where we'll continue learning together.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Thanks for sharing this really interesting material today. We've got this great stack of sources focusing on, well, a roadmap to financial independence.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Today, we're really diving into a practical, step-by-step strategy for building passive income. And it's all framed through the story of this young guy named Ryan.
Right, the grocery clerk.
Exactly. Ryan, 25, grocery store clerk, saved diligently for 3 years, but his money was barely growing, the source says, at a snail's pace.
A familiar feeling for many.
Totally. And this frustration leads him to Mr. Denna, this wealthy, kind of unnervingly calm mentor figure whose assets are working hard for him. So our mission here is to pull out those core 7 steps Mr. Denna shared so you can understand how to, make that shift from just learning to owning assets.
Okay, but before we jump into the steps themselves, let's maybe clarify the goal here. What is passive income in this context?
Good point.
Because we hear the term a lot. Here, it's defined as money earned with minimal ongoing effort, but crucially, after the initial setup work.
Right. The upfront work is key.
And what's really interesting is how Mr. Denna immediately says, look, this isn't just for the super rich. He specifically mentions managing even a small amount, like 1 million rupiah, wisely. That can kickstart the whole thing.
Yeah, that 1 million rupiah figure, that's what, about $64, give or take?
Something like that, yeah.
It's crucial because it just removes that excuse, doesn't it? That you need some huge windfall to even begin.
Exactly. It shifts the focus from how much money you have to how disciplined you are with it.
Okay, so let's get into section 1, the foundation. Step 1 seems, well, painfully obvious. You need money. Ryan was saving, but Mr. Denna tweaked his approach. What was that absolute non-negotiable rule?
It wasn't just save. It was about how you fund the investment part. The big rule. Avoid loans for investments. Especially, when you're starting out.
Okay, avoid loans.
For a seasoned pro, maybe leverage is a tool. But for a beginner like Ryan, The source hammers this home. Work hard, save gradually. It's just much safer than starting off anxious about borrowed money.
That makes intuitive sense. But let's dig into the why a bit more. Why is avoiding debt so critical for a newbie? It's more than just the interest payments, right?
Well, absolutely. It's about managing the emotional risk. Imagine Ryan borrows for his first little venture and it tanks. Which, let's be honest, first attempts often do.
Yeah, that happens.
He doesn't just lose his own catch, now he owes someone else.
Yeah.
That kind of failure, tied to debt, it can just crush your motivation. You might give up entirely. But if you start with your own savings, your failures are just lessons learned. Expensive lessons sometimes, but still just lessons. It gives you the mental space to try again.
That link between debt and, like, emotional failure, that's powerful. Okay, so Ryan's got his safe capital base. What's next? The temptation to spend it, I guess. That brings us to step 2, resistance.
Exactly right. You've scraped together a few 100,000 rupiah, it's sitting there, and suddenly everything starts looking appealing. Step 2 is all about resisting that urge to splurge on non-essentials.
And the source specifically calls out things that make you look successful.
Right. Yeah, like the fancy phone, the new car, maybe putting a down payment on a house you can't really afford yet.
Okay, we all know cars depreciate, but let's break down the financial weight, especially for someone on a grocery clerk's income. That ongoing cost of a new car insurance, gas, repairs, how does that actually stack up against building these small income streams?
The difference is huge.
Yeah.
These aren't just one-off buys, they're what you might call capital sinks.
Capital sinks, okay.
If Ryan buys that car, the monthly insurance payment alone could be more than the entire 500,000 rupiah Rudy needed for his Wi-Fi thing.
Wow.
It's that constant drain, the liability, that just sucks up the very money and cash flow you need to build those small assets. It really comes down to a choice. Maintain things that make you look good now, or build assets that actually make you wealthy later.
That puts it in really stark practical terms. Okay, steps 1 and 2 are about discipline. Now, step 3 is where the action starts. Finding opportunities. Mr. Dina told Ryan to look, well, everywhere.
Pretty much. His village, social media, the internet. But the real breakthrough seemed to happen when Ryan stopped thinking big like Wall Street and started looking right in his own backyard.
Right, in his community.
Mr. Dina was really clear. Find opportunities that fit your specific environment and, importantly, your skills.
Let's make that concrete. Those examples you mentioned, they really highlight the small scale. Rudy starting that neighborhood Wi-Fi service.
With less than 500,000 rupiah.
And someone else raising chickens with a similar amount.
Yeah, or renting out a small plot of farmland, maybe offering some simple service. The key thing here is recognizing the type of opportunity.
What do you mean?
Well, 500,000 rupiah, like you said, is tiny globally. But for Ryan, that could be a big chunk of his disposable income.
Sure.
The risk isn't just the money, it's the mental hurdle of actually using that hard-earned cash. These tiny ventures need local knowledge. Who needs Wi-Fi? Who buys chickens locally? Not complex financial modeling.
So the lesson is, stop waiting for like $10,000 and see what problem $30 or $40 can solve right now.
It's a perspective shift.
Okay, huge takeaway from step 3. But finding the idea is one thing. Lots of people get stuck after that. Planning, waiting for the perfect moment. Step 4 tackles that. Analysis paralysis. What was Mr. Dina's command here?
It was blunt. Don't wait for a perfect plan. Just start. Start small, use the savings you have, and learn as you go.
Learn as you go.
The emphasis is on getting going, even if it's tiny. Starting small limits the financial hit if it goes wrong, sure, but more importantly, you only discover the real challenges once you're actually doing it.
Okay, I get the need for action, but doesn't that kind of clash a bit with the save diligently advice?
Yeah.
If you rush in, aren't you risking the very money you worked hard to save in step 1?
It's a tension, definitely.
Right.
But think about the cost of not acting. That cost is time. And time is your best friend when it comes to compounding. If Ryan spends 6 months perfecting his chicken coop spreadsheet, well, he's lost 6 months of real-world data, maybe some early profit. Step 4 isn't about being reckless. It's accepting that your first investment is partly tuition. You're paying to learn.
Paying to learn. I like that framing. Okay, moving into section 3. We've started small. Now what? Step 5 is the growth strategy. If that first microventure actually works, how do you scale it?
Step 5 is really the engine room. You gradually increase your investment, but the key is reinvesting the profits.
Okay.
Mr. Dina's advice is basically, treat those early passive earnings as sacred capital. Don't just spend it. This is exactly what Rudy did with the Wi-Fi. use the money from the first few customers to connect more houses.
Right, increasing his earning potential. We often hear that called the flywheel effect. Can you unpack that a bit? What makes this reinvestment a flywheel and not just, normal business growth?
Good question. A flywheel suggests momentum, something that gets easier to turn and spins faster over time. It's not just linear.
Accelerating returns.
Exactly. Rudy's expansion is a flywheel because maybe each new customer generates cash flow that lets him buy slightly better equipment next time. That might mean lower maintenance, better reliability.
Which attracts more customers, maybe faster than before.
Precisely. The capital itself starts generating more capital that actually improves the efficiency of the original source. It starts feeding itself.
Okay, that flywheel is spinning in step 5. But then comes step 6, security. Protect the gains through diversification. Why is diversification so structurally important at this stage?
Well, think about these microventures. They're often vulnerable to very local stuff, right?
Yeah.
A key neighbor moves away, the price of chicken feed spikes, whatever.
Yeah, they're fragile.
So you just shouldn't rely on one single stream, especially a small one. Once that first stream is reasonably stable, maybe running itself a bit.
You start looking for something else.
Exactly. Start another venture, preferably something different, to spread the risk and hopefully boost overall profits.
But that raises a tricky timing question, doesn't it? When do you shift focus from really scaling up that first successful thing in step 5 to diversifying in step 6? Is there a risk of spreading yourself too thin too early?
That's definitely part of the art, not just the science. The source implies you diversify after the first asset is stable enough that it doesn't need your constant hands-on attention anymore.
So Ryan needs to free up his own time first.
Right. His time is a key input, especially early on. And step 6 also includes a really important psychological release valve.
Oh, let's
Spending some of the profits is okay, it's a reward, but Mr. Dina draws a line in the sand. Keep the spending under 50% of the profits.
The 50% rule, that's smart. It means you're not killing the growth momentum.
But you're also getting tangible feedback that this is working, that it's actually improving your life. That fuels the motivation you need for the long haul.
Yeah, it balances the enjoyment with the growth. Keeps
Yeah.
you invested emotionally and financially.
Exactly. For the long game.
Okay, so we've covered saving safely, starting small, scaling up, diversifying. Now we hit the final piece. Step 7, the long game. What is this crucial, maybe often overlooked 7th step?
It sounds simple, maybe even anticlimactic, but it's pure, unwavering patience.
Patient.
Be patient, stay consistent, keep learning, keep adapting. The source is really clear. Building real passive income, the kind that can actually support you. That's measured in years, not months.
And that consistency needs to be paired with that adaptation you mentioned. According to the source, why do so many people stumble right here? They've done the hard work of the first 6 steps. Why fail now?
It often comes down to hitting a plateau, maybe in step 5 or 6, and then stopping the learning and adapting process.
They assume the model is broken.
Yeah, instead of thinking, okay, my execution of the model needs tweaking, maybe the market changed, maybe their costs crept up. If you give up before the returns really kick in and the systems become genuinely passive, well, you never actually finish. You just end up being a frustrated manager of a small, demanding business, not a passive owner.
That's a critical distinction. So let's bring this all together. What does this whole roadmap mean for you, the person listening right now, who might have some savings but feels stuck?
I think Mr. Dina's approach for Ryan is just a brilliant piece of realistic financial engineering. Yes, passive income needs saving, it needs consistency, but the real barrier often seems psychological.
How so?
It's overcoming that fear of starting really small, combined with committing to learn and adapt along the way. The fact that people like Rudy can build something profitable with just 500,000 rupiah, it kind of proves the main barrier isn't usually the money, it's the discipline and the willingness to just start.
Yeah, we saw Ryan's whole journey began because he just identified his problem, that slow growth, and asked for help. If you've been saving but feel like you're on that snail's pace track, maybe the challenge isn't just saving more. Maybe it's overcoming that urge for the depreciating status symbols.
And finding the courage to deploy a little bit of capital on something tiny.
We talked about Rudy's Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
chickens, renting out farmland. What small community-level opportunity, maybe needing just, $50 and a few dedicated hours, is right there in front of you, but you've dismissed it because it felt too small to bother with. That's maybe something to think about as you consider your own journey from just being a saver to becoming an asset owner. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.